I don't know what it is.
It tastes good.
It has been tasting very good lately, and it's weird.
I'll go through stints like that where it's just like, ooh, that was really good.
Yeah, welcome aboard. We are live. I believe we are. I'm talking about right now. I've been on this beer kick where I am just I'm loving beer, and I tell myself too, I go, okay, you know what? It's Tuesday. I'm not going to have any. I'll just wait till Friday. And 5 minutes later,
and then all of a sudden,
yeah. Anyway, folks, I'm Johnny. That's Greg. This is the podcast, and happy belated Father's Day and happy Juneteenth. Are we allowed to say happy Juneteenth?
Yeah.
Or do we just say Juneteenth? Because isn't it like?
No, I mean it's a celebration. Yeah, I mean today's the day it was recognized. So by the
I'm recognized because I'm off, so I got off today.
That was cool I did too, and this is the first time I've ever been at a place that does that and recognizes that. So that's good.
All right.
And to I'm not on the stream yet to see if who's listening, but it's what Juneteenth is, right?
Yes.
Okay. I gotta check. What do you think it is?
It's the actual. Okay, I'm going to butcher it, but I know it has a lot to do with the actual time that slavery was like not
correct.
It was illegal, I guess you could say.
Yeah, it was the abolishment of slavery in America for African Americans, and it's the celebration of that day, which is a really big deal.
Yes,
over 4 million Africans taken from their homes and became African Americans. I mean, it's huge.
Very good point. Before I get to the point, I think we're on the right track here. Let's appease the gods by liking, subscribing, and doing all the fun stuff that you have to do to make us right. Greg, let us know about Audible.
Sure. We are partnered with Audible. So you can get 30 days of Audible for free on us. If you go to audibletrial.com/JATG, you get all your audiobooks. And I think there's some people out there that should probably do this and pick up an audiobook about Juneteenth and learn what it is, because there are a lot of people that do not know what's going on for Juneteenth. And so take a listen, maybe a podcast or a book or whatever it is you got to do to educate yourself on that. Like you said, it's 30 days for free. Whatever you buy, you keep forever and ever through the Audible app. So it's audibletrial.com/JATG. I
got a great one for you guys to download. I got through the third one of Jack Carr's Savage Son. I'm going through these like crazy. They're good. I like them. So I think I got 2 more before I'm all tied up and I hit back into Dresden. Anywho, Juneteenth. Yeah. I want people, because I hung out with a lot of people this week. It was a busy weekend. It was going to people's places, having barbecues, talking, and all they do is, a lot of people, you're right, they don't really know what it is. And be honest, I wasn't going to sit there and educate them. That wasn't, in my opinion,
that wasn't on your to-do list.
Yeah, in my opinion, if grown men want to eye roll and say, "Oh, it's just a black holiday," okay, that's on you. I mean, if you're not willing to go, "Hey, what the hell is Juneteenth?" like I did, and look it up and go, "Oh, that's a good one." That's a good holiday.
The thing is that a lot of people don't even know that it is about the end of slavery. They think it is having to do more with Pride Month.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Okay, I didn't get any of that from
the one look that I got was isn't that like a gay holiday? Why do we have a gay holiday that we don't get mail? And I'm like, that's real. I mean, it's Pride Month. Yes, that is true. But within Pride Month is Juneteenth.
Yeah.
And those are completely separate things.
Yeah. I got a lot of ignorance this time. I got like ignorance, like they didn't know what it was, and they said it was a black holiday, and we have to give another people they have to give another black people holiday off. And I was thinking, whoa,
was that? I wonder if that's like, because there are a lot of holidays that are created, right?
Correct,
I mean, well, I guess all holidays are created when you say it, but but like, do you think like when Labor Day came about, because that is a national holiday of just day off work, Industrial Revolution, people were working 7 days a week. usually like 10 to 12-hour shifts, stupid things like that. It was very unsafe until the president said, you know what, we're going to take a national day off.
Yeah. If God took a day off, we take a day off.
Do you think a lot of people were like, oh, fuck that, we don't need a day off? It's just another political agenda to make people not work and be lazy?
No, I don't.
I wonder if that happened.
I don't think that happened back then. I don't know. I really don't know. I can't, for me to sit there and speculate what they're actually saying, but I know what you're saying. Yeah. Like, no, nobody, I don't think gave a shit. And I don't know why anybody is that offended for today. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't.
And for those of you that are offended, I want you to think, and I know it's going to be really hard for you guys to get out of your comfort zone or your bubble or your vacuum or your echo chamber, to just think about one day you lay your kids down to sleep after a hard day working. Next thing you know, you are getting your head hit over. You're getting a black bag over your head, and you are being basically tied and sent onto a ship where you're being sent over to another country, and you are told basically, and I'm exaggerating a little bit, your name is no longer Kunta Kinte, your name is now Toby, and if you run, we'll chop off your foot, and you have to pick cotton all day. Just most Americans never have to worry about that.
No,
they never have to worry about that, and be thankful that we don't. And it's a horrible thing, but it's the truth, guys. America was built on slavery. It's what we did.
And I know Juneteenth is very much just I was about to say a celebration of slavery. It's not. It's the celebration of the end of slavery for African Americans. But there are a lot of other races that were enslaved in this country.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of Asian races on the West Coast, building railroads. Irish slavery was huge, which was something. Yeah, it's something I had to learn about. That there were
for what part?
It was the same time as black slavery. There were millions of Irish slaves were taken as well. And a lot of it was like prisoners of just like, you're a prisoner, you're now going to go be a slave in the colonies.
Yeah,
and the same thing. That's a lot of how a lot of Irish came over that way. So
So anyway.
Yeah.
Don't think we're here to really talk about slavery, but for those of you that are,
if you've ever listened to this show before, you know that whatever our plan was is very up in the air.
Yeah, pretty much. It just goes out the door. How was your Father's Day?
Busy. Like it Mine was, too. Some dads got to sit around and like take it easy.
You had to cook.
I did, actually. I did. So my parents came up, and I mean, when I say cook, it wasn't difficult. Brats and stuff, or not brats. We did not have brats. We had burgers and hot dogs on the grill.
What you're supposed to have is Father's Day.
Yeah, and hung out with my parents, and then we had to pack up and head over to the wife's parents, and then we got to hang out. It was probably around, 6. By the time we got back to my place, and we were able to just kind of sit down and, snuggle with a couple of kids on the couch, and we finally got to watch Obi-Wan and Miss Marvel from the previous Wednesday.
Yeah, I have not watched Ms. Marvel, but
it's good. It's good.
Yeah, we watched the first one, just haven't gotten to the second episode yet. So
I like it. I like how they're building. Again, not the target audience. No, there's a scene in there where you're like, I was never a teenage girl, but the former teenage girl and existing teenage girls in my house were like, yeah, this tracks. So
there you go, man. Yeah, I was catching up on Stranger Things, and I was catching up on Ozark.
Yeah,
and so we were kind of trying to pound those away. I had a great Father's Day, actually. I spent time with my family.
Yeah,
we bought this really cheap, cool splash pad that it's awesome because it's about 11 feet radius, 11-foot radius.
Okay,
so it's large. Big. Yeah, and
take a chunk out of your lawn.
Yeah, I just screw a hose into it, and the water pressure builds up the walls and then squirts water into it.
Sure.
And fills it up, and the last 2 days we've been having a blast on it. So
cool.
It's funny too. I fell asleep out there yesterday because it's only an inch of water. So I just laid down. I just laid down.
Cold because it's hose water.
No, by the time I like we played in it, we left. We had lunch. By the time I got back out there, it was warm water because it's only an inch. It's not hard.
Yeah, and I suppose that inner tube heats up, and by the time it squirts out, it's probably heated. Yeah,
and I just Gwen fell asleep watching while we took a break. She fell asleep, and so I just went out there and fell asleep.
She didn't fall asleep in an inch of water.
No, I did. Got burnt to a crisp, and
nice.
Yeah, but it was a good day. It was a good day.
I haven't done my first summer like base burn yet, which is why you can tell I'm pasty.
That's odd.
Yeah. Usually I'm
usually you're at least like you're a lawn guy. You're
that's an interesting thing you bring up. I had this discussion the other day of, I've had my kids do lawn work.
Oh, okay.
And it wasn't too long ago. I'm like, I got to get out and mow the lawn, stuff like that. And my wife is like, or no, it was my dad actually. My dad was like, he's like, have your kids do it. Why are you doing that? They're like, and I thought about it. I'm like,
that's a great point.
Well, no, I know it's. I've had my kids do it in the past because I want them to know how.
Yeah.
But what hit me is like, it's not that I don't want them to do it because like, it's not like what he taught me or what he did was that I'll just do it right so that I don't have to teach you how to do it. Dad was famous for like, do this. And then you do it. He like screwed it up and then he'll just do it for the rest of the time.
Oh, okay.
It's not that. It's more like I'm able to put my earbuds in for
and zone out
roughly an hour and just be outside and do a thing, and so for some people they like to get away and read a book. Some people like to go for a walk and do a thing. I'm like, I can get on my riding lawnmower and just or have the weed whacker in hand and
zone out
and just be and just do the thing.
I think that's a real important thing actually. There's something about, and I don't want to categorize it as man work, but there's just some jobs out there where it's like a man needs to do it to get away. Not that a woman can't or anybody else can, but just one of those things that I like to do this. Leave me alone. Let me do this.
Yeah. That's kind of what I'm like. There's not a lot of things that I do that are like, I'm zoned in of like, this is the man job or whatever it is. We don't do a lot of that, but that's just kind of, I'm like, and I sure as hell like it better than, using a snowblower or shoveling snow.
Yes, of course.
But it's essentially the same task of just putting your earbuds, go out and do the thing.
Yeah.
But to me, it's a little bit more attractive than just like going for a walk or.
Okay. So you feel like you're accomplishing something.
I do. I mean, even if, we've got like a little flower bed in the front of the house and it gets thistles and whatever. And I go out there and I'm like, just pulling stuff but I'm doing something. And and I don't really want to give that up. So I'm like,
I get that. I actually really get that. I've been feeling very like, I've noticed that I really enjoy getting my hands dirty and just getting a little bit of a sweat on doing work.
Yeah.
That sounds, now I obviously during these 90 degree, 100 degree heat days, I'd rather not, but if it's like a nice 79, 82 degree, I enjoy it. It's weird. It's weird because it kind of goes into this other avenue. What are you laughing at?
Marshall. I'll tell you in a second. It'll finish your thought. I'll tell you.
I was I don't know. I had one of these workouts where I was done working out and I sat down and I was just reflecting. And I know this sounds weird, but all of a sudden I just started thinking to myself, how weird is it that now we have to engineer our own suffering? Like we have to engineer our own suffering, like to get out a sweat or get out that angst or get out that thing that our grandfathers, that was called a Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And now we have to, because we've made our lives so easy and so cushiony that we have to engineer exercise.
Yeah. Like And just to go back to the lawn mowing example, I think it's interesting because like on my rider, it takes me about an hour to do it completely. That includes the
0 point radius turn.
Yeah.
To do the important
trimming around the edge and like in between the trees and then do the rider thing. And then I've even started going like after I do the one direction, I do the other direction. You get these cool little lines and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where if I had my walk behind or mower, which was still motored, it wasn't a full on push. I mean, I hit the lever and you walk behind it. That used to take me like 2 hour plus job.
Ever hurt your back doing it after a while?
With push mower?
Yeah,
like
push mower.
Not, it would be a little sore. It wasn't like thrown out or something like that. It was just the, using muscles you haven't used, bit. But I mean, that was like 2+ hours. And in the 100-degree heat, that was like too much. That was like I had to stop in between and catch my breath or take a break or so I didn't like that. That was overkill.
Mm-hmm.
But on the rider, I'm like, I don't if it is 100 degrees, I'm like, I don't care. And I can feel it. I can feel on top of my head. I'm getting prickly. I know I'm burning, but I'm still like, this is good. I like it.
There's something about a riding lawnmower.
It's nice.
There's something really fucking cool about it. When I had that big property back in Wonder Lake.
Oh yeah.
I love that thing. I couldn't wait to mow my lawn.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't have a riding lawnmower, I can tell you I'd probably have my kids doing more.
Yeah, probably you would. There's something very zen about it.
A little bit. Yeah.
Especially if you put in headphones and
by the way, is a very American thing. I learned this not too long ago. By the way, what Marshall said is that you'd have to fight his wife because she absolutely loves mowing the lawn. Like that is her thing.
This is something where I've realized I'm actually to Marshall's point. That's something where I'm very, I don't know what you would call this and you can help me out. But when I see a girl doing that, I get very like the man should be doing that. What is she doing that for? Like you shouldn't have her do that. I don't know what that's my first instinct. And it's not like she can't do it. I feel like she shouldn't do it. Like it's weird. I just feel like that's very.
I know where it's coming from. I know that place where it's coming from. I don't feel that when I see it.
Right.
There are a lot of times I'm just like, ooh, that's kind of sexy. I mean, if you get the right woman out there mowing the lawn, you're like, hey, that's. Okay.
I remember when I was I think it was 12, and I was riding my bike and I saw my neighbor's mom do it, and I said, hey man, like why is your mom doing that? You should do that. And I remember his name was Gary. I was like, Gary, you should do that. Your mom looks like she's really struggling out.
Yeah,
there.
that's a different.
And he's like, no, dude, she loves it. I can't get her to not do it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, so she's like getting exercise. She's like, oh yeah, she loves it.
My neighbors, like the yard right next to mine, and they're empty nesters, but they have it down to like, this is your part of the yard. This is my part of the yard. They have his and hers walk behind mowers.
No shit.
Yeah, they do. I mean, and this is just through observation. I've never seen her use the other mower, I've never seen him use her mower. I mean, they are, and I'm like, hey man, whatever works for you guys. That's
so I wonder if they're like that in the sink, like you wash, I rinse.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know well enough to ask.
There's that white line that divides the entire house.
Yeah. I was going to talk about riding lawnmowers again.
Yes.
And I don't remember.
Just very, we were saying it's very zen, very,
yeah. I mean, there's just something about it. And like, I know I was talking about the very American piece of,
that's right,
of lawn mowing. Like other countries, like even other European countries look at America and they go, why do you guys have these well managed? They like grass, like Kentucky bluegrass, like the stuff we put in our yards.
Yeah.
But like that's a weed. That is the most worthless plant ever.
Really?
It offers that. Yeah. They're like, it offers nothing to the environment. It doesn't flower. It doesn't seed. It doesn't help pollinators at all. You guys are, the idea of a manicured lawn comes from French royalty. And it's just like a giant waste of space. And in other parts of the world, they plant like, and I've seen other people that do this in America. They will find the plants that are native to their region.
Yeah.
and they plant them, and then they just let their lawns grow naturally. And it looks a little off when you're looking at like these other manicured type lawns. In fact,
especially when your neighbors are like, "You gonna cut your lawn, Jack?"
Yeah, and some like HOAs won't allow it.
You're right.
Like they say, like where I'm at, they're like, you have to have a well manicured lawn. If your lawn gets too long, they will hire a company to come in and cut it for you and then charge you for it, which you are bound to pay.
Do you know what I don't get? You'll see this a lot in the hotter states, where their entire lawn is a rock garden.
It's a rock garden, and I've even heard some people spray paint it green. I don't know if that's really it. Yeah, I don't know if that's really the case. I remember in school they'd be like, "Well, yeah, out in Arizona they can't grow grass."
That makes sense.
So they paint their rocks green to make it look like they have a yard. And I'm going,
you would spend a fortune on water.
Yeah, no, they just don't have that in the yard.
Yes.
And I go, okay. But what I've seen more likely in pictures of people that I know that have moved out there, stuff like that, is that they just have an AstroTurf lawn.
Oh.
Yeah, they lay down some AstroTurf, and that becomes
the only thing I would think that would become problematic is if you had a dog.
They spray it with a hose. Like they pick it up, and then whatever's left over there, they just spray it. They just spray it. Yep, it sprays, and then it goes. They liquefy it more or less, and it goes down into the dirt, and that's it.
That's it. I wonder if I'd get AstroTurf
for your little dog area.
If I move out, oh, I could do my little dog area. Get AstroTurf instead of stones.
I've seen people that, like even in California, like where Danny lives. I mean, they will, like, their backyard is completely
AstroTurf.
Well, it's not just that, but like they'll have their pool, there's patio brick, and then there's this little grassy area which is AstroTurf. And even if you have kids and like want a swing set or something, like, they get the spongy stuff underneath it.
Yeah.
And they make like this, but they don't have a single growing plant like from the ground in their yard. It's just completely landscaped, and whatever green space is AstroTurf. Some potted plants, or maybe a fruit tree of like a lemon or orange tree in a pot or something. But yeah, I've seen that. And there's something about that where I go, but I don't, I'm less than a fourth of an acre here, but to do that much to my whole backyard, I would go, that's a lot.
Well, not only that, if you do that in Wisconsin, aren't you almost just asking everybody to come over and play football? Like, aren't you just daring people?
Maybe. Yeah.
You just turn back out there, and all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, Wisconsin's back here.
Yeah. A little Lambeau Field in the black.
Yeah. I got a question for you and for the audience.
Sure.
One of these desserts has to go. Which is it? Is it brownies, cheesecake, cookies, ice cream, or pie? Want to hear it again?
Okay. If you tell me this stuff in advance, I can make a poll during our chat. But
oh yeah, that's true.
Hold on. Which, if I can spell,
one of these desserts has to go. Which is it?
I'm spelling the wrong kind of desserts here.
Desert.
Yeah, I'm happy you guys can't actually see me type.
I do that all the time.
Because the dyslexia just totally kicks in. What is it?
The desserts?
Yeah.
Brownies, cheesecake, cookies, ice cream, or pie. Which one are you, Greg?
One of them has to go.
One of them has to go.
I don't know if that's the right one, but I'm hitting it anyway. For me, it's cookies. Cookies could leave.
Yeah.
Yep. Cookies.
You're not a fan of like cookies? Like, you don't like to dip them in milk or nothing like that? Or
do I like it? Sure. But out of those choices, Marshall says adios to cheesecake.
I agree, Marshall.
See, and to me, I mean, my Mom says none of them have to go. She's an adult. She can have what she wants.
We're going back to old school.
Yeah,
TheGreg there.
And you're wondering where I get my, if you're an adult, if you use your blinker and vote, then do whatever the fuck you want. I think a cheesecake is like, I don't have cheesecake even monthly. Like I have it.
I never
once, maybe twice a year.
Yeah.
When we're out and somewhere and the place that we're at says, well, we have a blah, 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 blah cheesecake. And I go, I'll try that. That's when I have cheesecake. So to me, that is almost like a delicacy.
Okay.
So I wouldn't know. I mean, I could drop it because I certainly probably have a cookie more than I have cheesecake. Brownies. I mean, you can do a lot with those. I like those. Ice cream. There's too much variety. Like
way too much. Now it feels so good.
Yeah, I mean, it's
like right when it hits your tongue, it's like your tongue's like, "Hey, party!"
Yeah, and I
put some caramel on it. It's a big party,
and I love pie, so there's no way I'm getting.
Oh, I love pie too. So I'm between brownies and I'm not a big fan of. Look, I like chocolate as something that you put onto something, but it can't be the dessert. It can't be the dessert. It can't be a pure chocolate thing. So I'm not really a big fan of brownies. And cheese. So to me, it would be cheesecake would be gone. Then it would be brownies. The other two, the other three I would keep. Let us know, folks. What do you think?
There's a place, and I know you have them down by you too. It's called Crumble Cookie.
Yes.
And well, that's right, because they opened right next to the dispensary.
Yes, genius. They did. Yes, genius move.
So I follow their CEO. He's actually a very smart guy.
They do ice cream now.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
See, and that's just
small little and they're delicious ice creams.
So one opened up by us, and it was lines out the door for months.
Yep.
We finally go, and I'm like, well, shit, while we're here, we might as well get like a big box, which is like a dozen or something like that. I'm like, all right, we're gonna try that. And so we tried this variety, and I felt like they were good,
but now wait in line for good.
No, I mean, to me, I go, it's cookie. Like, it's cookie.
Good question. What is a wait in line for food?
Well, that's a very loaded question because
it's loaded, but I mean, what's yours? You would wait an hour and a half to eat it.
Well, and I'm waiting for my opportunity to go to Franklin Barbecue and wait in line for Franklin Barbecue or go to Snow's Barbecue. So to me, certain barbecue places that I really look forward to trying are the wait in line kind of places.
Where's Franklin? Where's Franklin Barbecue?
Austin.
Texas. Okay. So we're talking about Texas. These people.
Yeah, Franklin's Barbecue, and Snow's is also in Texas.
Have you ever been to Kansas City for their barbecue?
No, I've never been to Kansas. I've had Kansas City barbecue, but I've never had barbecue in Kansas City. Never.
Okay.
I can't think of a single dessert that to me is a go stand in line. You've got to have this kind of dessert.
I agree 100%. I'm not. Yeah, mean desserts have a unique relationship. I for the longest time I wouldn't eat any desserts. I just wouldn't do it. I was on a health kick and I just was like, nope, not doing it. There's not one dessert I would wait in line for. I know that.
Yeah, there's it's interesting.
I mean, like an hour to an hour and a half.
There isn't a dessert.
I don't think I wait 30 minutes for anything.
No, and I waited possibly 15 minutes for a crumble cookie, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But I know people that come to the Wisconsin State Fair for chocolate eclairs or
the funnel cake,
cream puffs. Cream puffs
are
a big thing. Which it's a pastry with a bunch of cream and another pastry. And I've had one, and I go, it's a lot of air. I mean,
if it was me, I would say just put the cream in a cup and give it to me.
Yeah, I'm just like,
I wouldn't need the pastry.
It's not worth. I mean, and maybe it's because we built it up so much by the time I was think it was probably in my 20s when I went to the state fair.
Yeah.
In my memory for the first time, and went, oh, we got to get a cream puff, and we got a cream puff, and I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's what I get.
I felt like that when I went to California, and I went to get it's a real famous burger out in California. Forgot what it's called. Danny would probably know this, and she probably, yes.
In-N-Out.
That's burger? Not worth an hour and a half to me.
You waited an hour. That's like
I waited an hour and a half with a bunch of friends who were like, dude, you gotta try this. You gotta have this. I'm like, okay, cool. Like if this is and it was like they were never not busy. So I'm like, all right, hour and a half. And then I'm like, they're like, what do you think? Good burger, right? I'm like, it's a burger.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I've made better ones on the grill.
You know, that has really changed since I became a student of barbecue and smoking meats and stuff like that. That has changed a lot of my opinion.
I'm sure you're almost like a connoisseur now.
I've got one, and I don't want to sound, I don't know, uppity or whatever, but there are places like you get a burger. Oh, we went down to a place. So I just took a business trip. I was down in Dallas, and we went to this restaurant. I'm not going to name it because it's like a big local kind of place. They love it in North Dallas. And I had a steak and it had some shrimp on it. It was the special. The shrimp was amazing. The steak, I wasn't impressed. Like it was literally like, I can do better at home, and I've had better at places in Wisconsin.
Well, so okay, for those of you that don't know, Greg has a Traeger grill. Now, you can definitely tell if some kind of meat was on a Traeger versus on a regular grill. You can.
Well, it's slow smoked, and there are guys that, I mean, you can get into the argument between a Traeger or our pellet smoker versus a stick smoker, but we're not doing that. Right. As an appetizer, we ordered. It was like a candied. They call it a candied bacon, but it came out in squares. I'm like, oh, this is like a pork belly burnt end.
Yeah,
and they were like, well, yeah, that's essentially what it is, but it was more like an inch by an inch cube instead of my like 3 inch by 3 inch chunks.
Right.
And I had it and I go, nope.
Yep.
The ones I make are far superior to what these are.
Right.
And then, I mean, I don't know if that set the tone for the night for me, but I was kind of like,
Yeah. I for a long time, I was a cupcake connoisseur. To me, there was a perfect portion between
frosting and cake
and how the cake was it moist, was it spongy,
too moist, too crumbly,
hard, was it frozen, all this shit. I would just literally rip the hell out of all these cupcakes all the time when I would get them. The one that they make really good is the one we went to one in Arizona, and they have them in vending machines at O'Hare. Forgot what they're called, but oh man, they're like the biggest cupcake thing in the world. But anyway, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'm trying to think of places that I've been that I go, that was amazing. Like that was this particular place. And the one thing that just popped in my head when you mentioned O'Hare, because then I started thinking Chicago.
Yeah.
When I went, is it Stan's or Stanley's?
Stan's Donuts,
which was in the Woodfield Mall.
Yeah.
I think they have other locations, but you told me I should check that out.
One's downtown Chicago, I believe.
I got it was just a strawberry milkshake, and they put a donut on top, and I was like, that is amazing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was really good. There actually is a place close to us in Watertown. I don't know if I ever took you there. Mullins is what it's called.
No, remember I wanted to go, but
that's right. You want to stop the one
right time. It was just
their shakes are amazing to me.
Yeah. When I took Ursula for her birthday at Coco's, I wanted to go to Mullins, but we got a dessert there, so I was like, well,
we're too damn stuffed.
I was like, all right, I guess there's no point in this. But that's still on my to do, because I see in that downtown area, everybody's walking around with like an ice cream cone.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple different ice cream places downtown in Oconomowoc that.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, I can think of 3 right now off the top.
Well, I'm sure you can.
They're all on the same block, more or less.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I'm trying to think of like other restaurants that I would say I would wait in line for, or for a type of food I would wait in line for.
There was a time I would wait in line for Red Lobster. Now I laugh at that.
It's lobster. It's got to be good.
Yeah. God, I'm with you. I'm trying to. You know what? The best steak I think I ever had was at Gibson's in downtown Chicago.
But the job I just left, they're having an event at Gibson's where I could have got Gibson's food for free from a vendor that was holding a thing there.
Nice.
So hopefully my old coworkers are going to get to go and get Gibson's, because that's a place I've heard of that I'm like, I'd like to try that.
But yeah, when you become kind of and again, you become, I guess you could say, you become snooty about a certain food. Like I'm like that with tacos now.
Oh, sure.
Like, and my biggest pet peeve on a taco. So if anybody does this on a taco, shame on you. Is when you bite it and it drains out all this water drains out the back.
Yeah, the leaky.
I hate that.
That water
lose my mind.
Leak.
Yes.
So here's the thing. I was at this work meeting last week. So we're all sitting around a big conference table, and of course they brought in snacks, stuff all around. And then my director pulls out. He's like a candy junkie, which I thought was interesting. So he pulls out like all these bags of candy. He just throws them on the table and like pass it around.
Yeah.
But he had like classic candy. And I don't mean like
classic
stuff I haven't had in 15 years.
You mean like the little sugar on the paper?
No, he didn't dots. He didn't have dots, but like he had
nerds.
He had Mambas. Do you remember Mambas?
I remember Mambas.
They were
that's a big thing in junior high.
Yeah, they were like these little square fruit. They weren't Starburst. These were like a competitor of Starburst. Mamba.
Yeah.
And I was like, God, I haven't had a Mamba in a while. So I had one of those. He had Sprees.
I remember Sprees.
They were the chewy Sprees. And he's like, chewy Sprees. He's like, so don't you can chew into it. Yeah. And I literally pop one in my mouth and it instantly trickles down the wrong tube. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, they're like, dude, is the new guy dying? I'm like, sorry, I haven't had a spree in like 15 years. And he's like, it's still a good burn though, right? I'm like, what are we talking? Is it cocaine? What are we doing here? But it was. I mean, I'm like, and that to me gets me a little bit more excited than like some kind of designer dessert parfait ice cream.
What, a spree burn?
But like a classic candy, like something you grew up with.
A nostalgic taste.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
That would make you go, or like I could go to a really nice restaurant and they'll be like, oh, well, for dessert, we have a 1980s sweet tart. And I'd be like, ooh, a sweet tart. I haven't had one of those.
Sweet.
Yeah, like something like that. I'm like, I haven't had one of those forever.
Maybe you're onto something here. Maybe someone's going to steal that idea and start doing that.
Yeah, like Skittles, like they're bringing back the lime and ditching the green apple. I'm like, finally, all right, here we go.
Are they?
Yeah, that's what the ad said. I saw.
I haven't had Skittles, and Ursula eats Skittles. Ursula goes through weird times, like
moments where,
well, she'll just call me up and like, hey, you're gonna need to run and get a bag of Skittles. I'm like, why? Because I want them. I'm like, you haven't had Skittles in like 10 years. She's like, I know. I need those now, though. I'm like, oh, okay. Are you pregnant? And she's like, no, I just have this craving. I'm like, okay.
Well, like I'll get a bag of Skittles at the movie theater, and it lasts me a month because I'm not like handfulling it out of there. I have like, I literally like 12 like individual Skittles I'll have in the theater. And then
when I was a kid, I used to separate the colors.
Oh yeah, that was a must. But then I'll like zip it up and I'll put it in. Like I saw a movie 2 weeks ago, Jurassic Park, saw that 2 weeks ago. Put the bag of Skittles in my backpack to take on the plane. Didn't touch them the entire week. Snuck them back into the theater. Sorry, Matt. Snuck them back into it was the same theater though, so I did buy it from him to go see Lightyear this past weekend, and didn't touch them the entire time in there, and came home and put them back in my backpack, and I haven't touched them since. So they're gonna last quite a while.
All right, we are transitioning, folks. I need to know how
away
Lightyear was.
From desserts.
Yes, how was Lightyear?
So the opening text to the film I think is a great thing that they added in there. It said, and this may, oh shit, did this make me feel old? It said, in 1995, a boy named Andy got a spaceman toy, and I'm like, 1995. That's when Toy
Story came out.
That's when Toy Story came out, 1995. And I go, holy shit! I was a junior in high school. Like it was nuts. I didn't think.
I remember. You'll appreciate this. I remember when I bought it and I put it into VHS. We had VHS. I bought it and I watched the movie, and immediately I called Farrah. I go, "You got to come over here and watch this movie. It's called Toy Story."
Farrah, get over here.
She goes, "What?" She goes, "Oh, I heard about that." I'm like, "You got to come over right now and watch this." And she came over, we watched it. She's like, "That was so good." I'm like, "I know, right?" So stupid, but 1995. Holy shit. Okay, so anyway, that's
Farrah, how we miss you. You're not listening, but we miss you anyway. So it says 1995, a boy named Andy got a spaceman toy from his favorite movie. This is that movie. Oh, so you're literally watching the movie that Andy loved as a child
and needed that toy
and needed that action figure of Buzz Lightyear.
That makes sense.
And it was good. I mean,
so it wasn't amazing.
So here's the thing. Well, here's the thing for me. When I'm going into what I think is going to be an action animation, the bar that I have set for that is the first Kung Fu Panda film, which to me is 5 stars across the board, 2 thumbs way up, because it hits on characterization. The soundtrack is amazing, and the action scenes is some of the best kung fu scenes I think in modern cinema. And I don't think Lightyear got up to that level that I'm going to say it's on par with Kung Fu Panda at all. But it was good. I mean, it was a solid science fiction, spaceman story. It's Buzz kind of discovering himself. Chris Evans did a great job kind of reinventing the voice of Buzz. And you can hear it was interesting because, and maybe I'm going too deep, maybe I'm just putting my own spin on this, but like Chris Evans as an actor went in and said, how is an actor going to approach Buzz Lightyear, and delivered some of the iconic lines that the action figure
does,
voiced by Tim Allen, does. Now, if you're a fan of toys at all, especially toys from the 90s, where they started to have toys that you'd press the button and they would say the phrases from the film or from the cartoon show or whatever it is, it wasn't always the same voice.
Right.
From it wasn't always the actor's voice. They had somebody else come in and say those lines. So when you have Chris Evans speaking the lines as an actor, and then you have Tim Allen speaking the lines as the voice in the toy, it actually works out really well.
Yeah.
Where Tim Allen is just a little bit cheesier, a little bit more over the top, his To Infinity and Beyond, there's not as much kind of heart to it, I think, as opposed to what Chris Evans was delivering as a man playing a character as an actor, as opposed to Tim Allen playing a toy that's based off that actor. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Would Gwen sit through that, you think?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. Is it 2 hours?
I'm like hour 45, maybe.
Okay.
I didn't. You know what? It was short enough that I didn't notice the time.
Okay.
And it never, to me, felt like it was getting too long.
Okay. So that sounds good. So yeah, I was excited to see Lightyear. I like I just like it.
It's fun. I mean, and
so it's fun. So you would in Johnny's world of movie ratings, would I owe it money? Would I come out even, or would they owe me money?
I think you're at least going to come out even.
Come out even. Okay.
Yeah. Like you're going to be like, yeah, I paid money for that. It was money well spent. I'm good.
Okay, cool. All right, guys, if you haven't had that chance, go out and see Lightyear.
Yeah,
this movie coming out is Multiverse of Madness already.
Oh, on Disney Plus. Yes.
Yeah, is that bad? Is that a bad thing? Because I told Ursula that because she missed it, and she goes, well, that was quick. I'm like, it was quick.
45-day window now is the post-COVID time span for a movie to come like from the time it starts, day one in the theater, it's 45 days before it can be on a streaming service. And for the consumer that doesn't want to go see things in the theater, it's great. For the American Theater Owners Association and those that make their living off of people going to the cinema to see things, it's terrible.
I'm sure.
Matt, if you're listening, I feel your pain, buddy, because like, yeah, Krista didn't get to see Doctor Strange in the theater. And by the time we found the time that we could go and see it, she's like, I can wait 10 days and it's going to be on Disney Plus.
Yeah. See, that's okay. After around 45 days, would anybody even go and see?
They did.
Yeah,
they did. I mean, yeah, that was kind of the thing. And that's all the science kind of behind Hollywood. I just finished watching The Offer on Paramount Plus, which is the story of The Godfather. The start to finish, the writing, producing, and eventually Oscar win of The Godfather.
Mm-hmm.
Really great series starring Miles Teller and Juno Temple. We've talked about it on a previous show just a couple weeks ago. Yeah. It is really, really good. Totally worth a watch.
Okay.
Gonna win awards, or at least I really hope it does, because it was that good.
Miles Teller's hitting out of the park.
He really is. Well, he's like silent for a while.
Really working now.
I think he got into a car accident, and so he's got some scars on his face. Yes, and I was like, were those? I can't remember what. I think it was when I was watching Top Gun. I'm like, are those real, or are those like added in? Or so I think it slowed down his career for like right around Fantastic Four when that came out and bombed.
Okay.
And then he was in
quiet after that.
Well, he did Fantastic Four, which didn't go anywhere. He had the Divergent series, which didn't go anywhere, and they just left it. There was one more movie that
they did. I remember that. They were like, nah.
And the producers went, fuck it, we're done. So it's like he laid low, but now he's really firing it. And he's a decent actor. I like him. Hey,
speaking of Miles Teller, did you see Spiderhead on Netflix?
Not yet, but it's on my list. I read that it's supposed to be a little like Ex Machina, which I love as a film. So I think it's going to have the right mix of weird and science fiction that I'm into. So
we look forward to that review.
Yeah.
Have you watched The Old Man?
Not yet. I know. I'll watch it. All right. Like I said, we just finished The Offer. I'm really into Strange New Worlds. I think that's a great show. But yeah, we're gonna get
what's Strange New World?
Star Trek, Strange New Worlds.
Okay.
Fantastic return to classic Star Trek. The Orville is on my list. That's one I watch on my own. Excuse me, I watch The Boys on my own.
Okay.
Because I'm kind of the wife's not into them.
I'm kind of done with The Boys, and I heard about what happened in episode 1. I was like, that's why I don't watch this.
See, it calmed down. It's kind of like they wanted to literally make an explosion on the screen with episode 1, and they did.
Yeah.
But it's calmed down since then, and now the story has got me
taken off.
Very much got me.
Is it still on? Are they still following the comic book form, or are they kind of taking liberties now?
It seemed like they kind of drifted away during season 2 when they started to lose people a little bit, but now they're kind of back. Not completely following the comic. In terms of kind of how the story is progressing, but definitely the heart of it is there with Homelander. Homelander kind of taking over Vought, and our group of the boys plotting to find a way to take him down. That is in full force. And finally, like running on all cylinders, where I'm like, this is good. This is decent TV.
Maybe I'll pick it up again.
You could. And I don't think there's, other than that first episode where it's super extreme and unnecessary, in my opinion. It's really like they heard the Ant-Man versus Thanos theory and said, let's just throw something like that. We'll do something like that in The Boys because we can.
Yeah, basically.
And it was very much a scene like that. And I go,
Yeah.
Not
Okay.
necessary.
I'm not going to give you the scene, but I am going to tell you the Ant-Man Thanos theory. So there was the theory out there of why didn't Ant-Man just go to an ant, crawl up Thanos's butt, and then explode?
Yeah. Just resize and
just go back to regular size, and that would have been the end of Thanos.
Yep.
If you really think about it, folks, they did something like that in The Boys.
They do something like that in The Boys.
Yeah. But if you really think about it, folks, any one of those superheroes, there could have been another way to defeat Thanos if you really think about it, so don't hurt your brain too much about that.
Yeah,
but anyway,
no, it was a story. They told it there.
Do they ever have a Doctor Strange variant in The Boys?
No.
Okay.
No, nothing like that. Right. Because every superhero is
drugged, right? It's a drug. It's
a biological mutation.
It's not
or drugged or something. No, nothing like that.
No magic.
Yep.
Okay.
So what else am I watching right now? But I am the Hulu show I'm looking forward to. What's it called? The Old Man.
The Old Man. I honest to God,
you were totally impressed with Jeff Bridges.
I was, because it's weird. I'm getting really impressed lately with more realistic fighting than the extravaganza like that. I feel like it reached a goofy peak with Van Damme and Seagal.
Sure.
And then it just elevated. And then John Wick made it an art form, very entertaining, but none of that's real. And then, I'm sorry, some of that's real.
Some of it,
yeah.
You can't flow like that.
Yeah.
In a real fight, it doesn't.
Some of the fight scenes in here are very realistic. Like when they're fighting, they actually have to take a break, and because they're like exhausted, and they're like,
Well, that's I remember watching one. We talked about this. Ken and I talked about this when you were on vacay in our fight scene episode.
Yeah.
One of the best brawl scenes, and by brawl I meant just two dudes slugging it out. They're not martial artists. They're not military trained kind of. They're not doing choreography. Right. Was in the movie They Live with Roddy Piper and Keith.
Yes.
Because that's just it. I mean, if you get hit in the face like a couple times, you go,
yeah.
And that's, Jackie Chan made that was kind of his shtick. Like he'd hit a guy in the face and he'd be like, because it fucking hurts to punch a guy.
Yes. Yeah.
When your knuckles hit a cheekbone, that's practically bone on bone.
Yeah.
It makes a wet kind of slappy kind of sound, and it hurts.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do I explain this? Even the camera work you'll see in this fight scene, it's very, I really don't know how to explain it. I think you could explain it because I think you'd be like, oh, that they got that from that guy that does that camera work. I think you would know, but I thoroughly enjoyed the first two episodes. I was like, wow, this is a lot better than I thought it was going to be. And they have, it's with Jeff Bridges, which, by the way, he's 72 years old. This guy is still at the top of his game, in my opinion. The problem I used to have with Jeff was sometimes he mumbled his lines so damn much. And like, I think that one where he was Rooster Cogburn.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I didn't understand a damn word he said. But in this one, I think he's fantastic in this one. And so I'm looking forward. They have John Lithgow in there too. They got some good actors in this.
Do you remember when John Lithgow came to Whitewater? Do you remember?
No. I'm horrified. I didn't know that.
I thought you were with me.
No, I'm horrified. If it was John Leguizamo, I could give a shit. I don't care.
Oh no, that dude's brilliant. Shut up.
I know. I'm just not a fan. I don't care. He doesn't get the Johnny meter anyway at all.
Have you seen his one-man shows?
Who? Like
Yeah.
No, I don't care.
No. Oh, dude, you got to watch those. Those are amazing.
I don't care.
I'm done. Doesn't matter. You should.
You sound like my dad now. I don't care. Do it.
Some things you need to experience. No, I thought it was. God, I thought I was with you. Anyway, John Lithgow came and he did like a 1-hour lecture or something like that where he was talking. Yeah, we were in the UC. And he talked about, like, somebody asked him, like, how do you do evil? Like, how do you do that so well? And he's like, this kind of deadpan, dead-eyed. And he's like, well, when I'm getting ready to do a scene like that, he gets like this biggest, almost like psychotic Joker smile, as big as he can, holds it for like 60 seconds, which your muscles in your face start to hurt. And then he just completely relaxes every muscle in his face. And that's how he got like this kind of dead eye. And that was his trick. And that was my one takeaway of him talking about acting. But
but they both do fantastic in this show.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm
so
looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's a good show. So if you haven't watched The Old Man yet on Hulu, if you have Hulu, watch it. It's worth it.
I get Hulu free through my cell phone company. Like, that's something that people should check into when they're like, oh, I don't have that streaming service, I don't want to pay for it.
Was that a humble brag? Because some people can't get that, Greg.
No. It's what I'm saying is, like, so many telecommunication companies are in bed together now that check to see what you can get free through whoever you're paying.
You can get the Disney bundle, which is Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN. If you join AT&T.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, that's something that people, I mean, if you're looking, you're like, oh, I don't have that one. Check to see if you can get it for free, because that is totally worth it. Like, I don't, Apple Plus hasn't put out anything that I've been real excited about in recent months, but the fact that they have Ted Lasso on there, to me, is worth the whatever.
Yeah, I still got to get on that train. I know.
Oh my gosh, it is so good.
Yeah. You know what I really appreciate? When you get an actor like Jason Sudeikis and he gets thrown into a role and you're like, this goofy guy, oh, he has depth. He knows what he's doing.
He will have you absolutely laughing in stitches and then bawling in the same episode.
Yeah, it's the same thing that happened with Bryan Cranston. Yes. Bryan Cranston, he was on Malcolm in the Middle. He was the goofy, by the way, he was the best part of that show, in my opinion, was him. Yeah. When he couldn't like get on the roof that was 10 feet high, he'd freak out. Or the one time he said, I think he got out of, somebody accused, or the company was trying to frame him for something because they needed a scapegoat. And the way he got out of it was he had receipts because he said, on trial, I will never forget this. On trial, he goes, I haven't been to work. I haven't been to work on a Friday since 5 years ago. So he skipped every Friday for 5 years, and that got him off. He had all these receipts of like going to the, and like you should see like Lois and the kids were like, what? Like, he went to like go-karts and he went to like, it was hilarious. Anyway. Yes, Bryan Cranston was the goofiest dad you could ever possibly imagine. And he became Walter White, and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah. That's an actor.
Yeah. Same with Bateman.
Yeah.
Bateman's so odd though, because it's always Bateman.
He does, like, his delivery doesn't change.
Yeah. He does it well. He does it so well. Yeah. So anyway, I think we're at that point.
I think we are.
I am. Sign us out, sir.
Okay, so the biggest thing that I have learned this week, new job, new people, everything else. One, know your audience. That's always real important. And we're going to go back to the rule of three here. That know your audience, check your sources, know what you're talking about. And as you are meeting people out in the world, do not be a douche.
Boom. So for the Greg, this is Johnny saying happy Juneteenth.
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Happy Juneteenth. Podcast out. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.